Welcome into tonight's edition of the Badger Beer Report. I am the founder and editor in chief of Badger Beer Report, Greg Washington. We are here tonight with a pack rundown as we track the shifting landscape of Wisconsin craft beer. Tonight we're diving into the Supermoon abrupt closing of its tap room to double down on distribution. Ope North just opened up. We're going to have a report from there. We have expansion news breaking across southern Wisconsin, updates on brewing, updates on new brewing places, and yes, the Fox Valley still. We got lacrosse. There's an up. Joel has big updates from the 414, along with some charity initiatives and a recaps of Joel and I's recent brewery trips. Plus, we will address our latest closing and opening maps to give y'all a full visual layout of the state's shifts here. And before I bring on director of uh, brewery relations and outreach or brewery relations, and I always get this wrong, y'all. Director of Brewery Relations and Research, Joel Geyer, author of the book Flights Across America. Before we do all that, I would like to show y'all what I'm drinking, which is a new Glarus Quad 26. Let's go. All right. So without further ado, bring on my colleague, Joel Geyer.
Hey Greg, we had quite the whirlwind last week and a little earlier than that too. We had quite the whirlwind of news stories that kind of all just broke within just a few days of each other, really. It just felt like it was bang, 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 back to back to back for the most part.
Yeah, and the biggest one, we will start with
Yeah.
Supermoon Brewing Company.
Yep. As you can see, I'm wearing my hat. I wore it on my most recent little video thing when we went to the tree line, which you'll see later. Um, but for those of you that did not see, I'm guessing if you follow us, you probably did see. And Supermoon is closing their tap room. We actually had someone kind of drop I guess, a hint you could say, on us about the fact that they went by the prior weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and it seemed that they were closed, and then Google showed them as temporarily closed. And so we actually reached out to Rob. We did not hear back immediately, but then it was the next day when he had a lengthy Instagram post detailing that the tap room would be closing, that it was not the end of Supermoon, that they were going to be moving to a distro only for the time being. We did learn later on that it was he voluntarily gave up his Wisconsin brewing license. So for people that are, maybe confused about the working pieces here, he is now brewing down at was in Chicago. The beer is being produced down there, so we have yet to see how that is going to shake out in terms of distribution here in Wisconsin as it pertains to us. Obviously, big picture for Rob and for Supermoon, they plan to continue to make beer. Whether or not and how much of it we will see here in Wisconsin has yet to be seen. I don't need to reread the entire because it was a lengthy post, and then he continued in the comments, really detailing everything that the taproom has meant to him, his family, the community. So make sure you go to their Instagram page and read that if you would like. Um, this one was another tough one. I feel like we just had the tough one under very different circumstances, of course, when we lost 1840. But Supermoon, since they opened that taproom, because they originally started in 2019, and then the taproom opened up in Bayview a few years later with it was in an old, I think it's like a 120-year-old former German store that had been started by immigrants. Um, and I went there. My very first time there was they weren't even full. Like the tap room wasn't actually open yet. Rob was just schlepping beer out the door essentially to people that would come and visit. And I was immediately like, wow, like this is already one of the best breweries in Milwaukee, and they aren't even really open. Um, and since then, like Supermoon has been consistently one of, if not my favorite breweries in Milwaukee. They have consistently produced amazing beer. Obviously, saisons and a lot of his different mixed fermentation stuff. And I took many a visitor from out of town there. I actually held one of my very first book signings there at Supermoon. Rob had me in for that. I've enjoyed every opportunity that I've had to talk with Rob. Um, and obviously, losing Rob, losing that tap room is it's a tough loss for Milwaukee, specifically for that Bayview neighborhood. I know that that became a community gathering place. This wasn't your industrial, large scale, brewery tap room. This was a very intimate community space that just had a very comforting and welcoming vibe to it. I mean, from when it first opened, and one of the last times I was there was earlier in the year when I was there for the Solemn Oath kickoff, and it was just packed to the gills, flowing outside. But a lot of time I would go in there'd be a handful of other people there, just hanging out, chatting, drinking some of the amazing beer that Rob was brewing. I still think his beer descriptions on his tap list are the best out there. Um, I shouted out a bunch of beers when I wrote about this for the newsletter last week. There's obviously a whole bunch I could sit here and list. Lots of them, many phases, Glow, Bayview, Saison, Saison Bayview, all of it. Yeah, this one sucks. This one really sucks. I'm hoping the best for Rob moving forward business wise. I am hoping that this, whatever path he is choosing here is going to be fruitful for himself, because he is, he's awesome, and I've loved his beer. I'm hoping that the next steps for him are fruitful, and I'm obviously hoping that we still are going to get some of his beer up here. But Greg, I know that you are obviously a big fan as well. I could go on a soapbox here and spiel about all my times that and all the beers I drank and how much I loved it, but grand scheme of things, we have some other potential stuff flying around, but it's all speculation for now. Maybe we'll post something later on, but for now, you have the facts out there. Supermoon Taproom is gone, kind of up in the air with how things are going to look distribution wise, but we can confidently say, at least for the time being, that Supermoon is not fully going away. At least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, it's one of our definitely better breweries that we lost. And it's just really interesting on the dynamic of, what could happen as far as distribution, but we will wait to see all that. But we will, no reason to stay there, because we have, our closing map
Good
showed
news.
last week.
Lots of good news.
Our closing map showed last week that, people really are tied into when we lose one. And everybody's really opinionated on it. But also, the rich get richer this week here, or last Friday, with a new brewery opening, or a new extension brewery opening in the Fox Valley on College Avenue. Do we need another brewery here, Joel? What's going on up in Fox Valley?
Yeah, I mean, so Ope North, they're not calling it Ope Brewing. Like, they are branding it as just Ope North. It has its own website, its own social pages. You can see the logo up there. They've been pretty coy about posting like full interior shots. But this past weekend they did officially open, I guess you could call it phase one of this entire. I just finished writing my little write-up on this from the newsletter. I call it a campus, essentially, because you're going to have multiple tap rooms, an event space, a huge outdoor space with sport courts. There's just so much going on here. And this initial wave, I guess you could say, or whatever you would call it, was the main tap room, and then, part of the outdoor space. Our good friend Kyle, who just kind of, hopped on here as a correspondent up in that direction, was there for, was it soft opening or opening day? It was soft opening, correct, Greg?
It was a soft opening,
yes. Yeah. And so in my newsletter, I will be linking his write-up that's on our website. Otherwise, you can go to badgerbeerreport.com, and Kyle did do a little write-up there. On the map, you can see on the right there, the little yellow star there for Ope North. You can see it just a little bit to the west of the main stretch of downtown, where you'll find Vault, McFleshman's, Appleton Beer Factory, the Lawrence University campus, everything downtown there. So it's just a little bit west of that area. And we've kind of talked about this before, but what Ope is doing up there is seemingly filling a different type of void when it comes to brewery experiences. Um, this is more of a like a large group kind of gathering thing. They're going to have volleyball. It's got multiple tap rooms and event spaces, so it's very much a different type of venue. I feel like than many of the other breweries in Appleton. And we've seen that Appleton is just seemingly craft beer crazy right now. They have continued to grow and thrive. The breweries that have came in recently have done very well. So yeah, I think it's really exciting to see the full project. I know that once it's all complete, hopefully one of us will be up there to kind of do a grand tour, I suppose. But yeah, very, very excited to see this one come in. It moved pretty quickly, but obviously, like we said, they are opening this up kind of in parcels. It's not, because it's such a huge project, I think they wanted to get people in the door and starting to enjoy the beer. And this was the best way to do that.
Yeah, Ope North is 3 days old, 4 days old. Obviously, Ope has been around for, I always forget, 6 years now, or no, 4 years in West
Yeah.
Allis. Yeah, they're kind of young, but now they have two locations and two outdoor locations. As Joel said, this is going to be a really sprawling outdoor location. They are just opening up in phases, like Joel said, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how they fit in up there. Also, Joel, we get one of our smallest towns is getting an extension brewery in southern Wisconsin. It's time to move to
Yeah.
some extension brewery news here.
Yeah. So we had a little bit of a chat in our group chat about the definition of a tap room, an additional location, because it is a little different. And I briefly talked about it in my write up with on my newsletter why I'm excited about this because it's very different. So Low Daily from Burlington, they are opening up a secondary location in Belleville. And this is going to become part of the yards at Belleville Depot. And I will show on the map here. So this is part of a over century-year-old train depot that is being transformed into a large kind of community gathering space. You can see there on the map on the far right there that it is located just south of downtown, just like 2 blocks off of the main street, or even 1 block, I guess, depending on which way you're going there, 1 block maybe. And it is going to be transformed and have these, besides just like these outdoor areas, it's going to have this custom built shipping containers, and one of them is going to be home to Low Daily Beer. So it is going to be a walk-up beer location, essentially, serving up all the Low Daily beers, with it being the small. They did clarify it in their post, but all brewing is still going to be taking place in Burlington. This does not change anything with the taproom in Burlington, but it does provide them another direct avenue into a community without taking on a huge construction progress or construction project, taking on a lot of debt, either trying to renovate a space or build a space. And it's also more of a physical print than just trying to distribute there to, a bar, to, a grocery store. So I am very intrigued by this because we have not seen this done here in Wisconsin. And if it's successful, I don't see a reason why other breweries may look at this as an opportunity to get their beer into locations that may not necessarily need multiple big, tap rooms in town or the city, but can still give them a physical presence in a place that they view as, maybe a growing market for whatever reason. So yeah, it's very, I don't know if we've officially decided if we're going to classify it as like an other or additional tap room or what, but it is a physical location for Low Daily in a new place. And, and Belleville and Burlington are not necessarily next door neighbors. So it is getting them to a different part of the state. Without, like I said, I am very intrigued by this. I'm very excited to follow this. There's stuff on the one website that says they're hoping to have this in by like end of this year. It is like obviously the shipping container, depending on how customized it is and what, how that's being made, that maybe it could be, in there by the end of the year. I don't know. But either way, yeah, I'm just very excited for this because it's a very different expansion story than what we have covered so far since we've done Badger Beer Report.
Yeah, I just wanted to, Joel mentioned this. I wanted to show y'all that it's an hour and 40 minutes from Belleville to Burlington, where Low Daily is currently located. So it's a little bit of a haul. And it's wild how big Wisconsin is when you drive it all the time, like I've been doing lately. But yeah, an hour and 40 minutes is, it's enough, Joel, for arm space for people to be like, hey, who's Low Daily? And also we had Hop Garden Belleville just moved in there less than a year.
Yeah.
About a year ago. A year and a couple months or a couple months or something like that, right? So now Belleville, really small place, has gonna have two craft beer outlets there, so that should be fun for them.
Yes.
I after having none for however. So another place that is gonna have a plethora or even more of a plethora of craft beer places is Lake Geneva. What's going on there, Joel?
Yeah. So Lake Geneva, and we're still figuring out exactly if this is going to be an expansion or just a straight move, or exactly how that's all going to be going. We have some,
I was told this is an expansion.
Yeah. So it's going to be, I would assume I don't know what exact location. Either way, Mash Tun Brewing. So currently they are located out in a office park type place out to the eastern outskirts of Lake Geneva. And we had been given some rumors that they had purchased a building, gotten a building one way or the other in downtown Lake Geneva, but we did not have any details until the news broke that they are planning to open up a fish and chip shop and tap room. And it is right there in the heart of Lake Geneva, a block from the water, just off of the main street. So Addie's is going to be the fish and chip shop, New Zealand style or New Zealand inspired fish and chips, I believe is the exact terminology that they use, which I don't know what New Zealand style fish and chips are, but I really want to try it. But so the first level is going to be that like restaurant, and then the upper level is going to be the Mash Tun Brewing tap room. So the New Zealand that I mentioned before, the owners are originally from New Zealand, so there is obviously that connection there. I think this is a really awesome opportunity for them. We obviously already have Topsy Turvy Brewing downtown there in Lake Geneva inside the old church. Lake Geneva downtown is an absolute madhouse when you go there. Being able to be there is going to draw so many more people to their name because you have it's one of the absolute tourism hotspots in Wisconsin. Even on days where it's like rainy and stuff, it's still just swamped with people. So you're definitely going to get more exposure there. And as you said, that originally we have been told that they are planning on keeping the location, whether they keep the tap room or they transition it to only brewing. I don't know, because it is you've been there, it's a very small space, what their current tap room is right now. Like they have seating for hardly more than maybe a little more than a dozen people, it seems at times. Like it's a small space. And so this will obviously open them up for more, potentially events, hosting more people. And yeah, I'm really excited for them. They make a lot of really fun beers. This is something that you and I kind of really discovered here in this past year. I made my first physical visit there last month? Last month was when I was down there. So excited for them. Hopefully we will get down there and get some more coverage once this project starts to come to fruition. I do not believe any timeline has been stated anywhere at this point, but yeah, we're just excited for it.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like I was there before Joel, and he gave me a little bit more information, but maybe he was a little bit loose lipped. I
He
thought I
wasn't
heard.
there when I was there.
Oh, I heard. I thought I heard him say early next year.
Okay.
Also, he wanted to definitely. They definitely want to make this. I don't know. This is what he said. He wants to keep the paninis over where they're at, and he wants
Well,
to
they're
make
good
this
there.
the. Yeah, he wants to make them kind of distinct as far as at least the food goes, and
Okay.
kind of like the atmosphere. He loves the atmosphere of where he's at, but he absolutely believes that a different atmosphere downtown is going to be appropriate for them there. So he knows his landscape, man. I think it's fun, interesting. I don't know. I don't see how that's not gonna. Maybe that'll be seasonal, Joel. Maybe it'll be a place where they can. You know what I mean? Because it's bustling in the summer. I don't have
It's
to tell you
insane.
that. You know what I mean? In the summer, we'll probably pay for all year round the rent, if that makes sense, because of the traffic is just wild. And my first time in Lake Geneva, I was down there and I was like, wait, is there something special going on? Oh no, this is this Lake Geneva, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay. People milling around, and it just had a very for those who are not from, I'm from the East Coast, born and raised. It had a really Atlantic City, Wildwood, New Jersey feel, like a beach feel. Just people milling around, just that you know what I'm talking about, Joel. That like that summer wonderful feel. So I
Feels
don't know.
very
I
vibrant and
I
lively.
vibrant, alive. I mean, I just see this as a good move. I would say that
I agree.
it's probably very smart, because he knows the lay of the land. So yeah, I think again, like I said, Joel's right though. There's really not, we're kind of there's really no definitive of hey, we're gonna have two or not. So they're gonna work all that out. But I suspect that there'll probably be two mash tun locations, and maybe one seasonal, one year round, or maybe 2 year round. Topsy Turvy does well year round down there
Yeah.
anyway. So there's that. So yeah, our southern Wisconsin is filling out down there, Joel. And another place that we are getting word on an expansion or not, or is it a new place, and are we brewing? And that would be One Barrel Brewing, who has been
Gotcha.
moving around a lot, Joel, over the years.
Yeah. So we kind of covered this because last time you saw us for a brewery report, we discussed that they finally kind of showed some movement in De Pere. So One Barrel, originally from Madison, moved up to Door County, specifically Egg Harbor, and then they announced that they were going to be building a second location in De Pere. And so they are going to be located right next to where Nicolay Ale Works is also going to be coming in. And we covered that they kind of started construction. They had a ribbon cutting and everything. The new bits of details that have came out is that we have gotten some renderings of the interior, showing what this location may look like. To me, it's looking like I don't, not high end, but certainly kind of a step up from your normal tap room. It looks, got a very nice restaurant kind of feel. It has a high end type of bar. There's a second level, it looks like, up there with some additional seating. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty complete. If you're going there, you're also often going to be going there for food. But yeah, downtown De Pere is going to rapidly be going from 0 to 2 breweries, or at least a brewery and another brewery location. But yeah, I always love seeing these visions of what these places are hopefully going to look like, and then getting to compare and contrast it once it's all said and done. But yeah, another bit of progress, I guess you could say, being made there by One Barrel.
Yeah, and I think I erroneously said that this is going to be a build up. I believe this is a remodel. So
Yes.
if I said that previously, I'm correcting myself. And yeah, this exciting things again. The demise of craft beer in Wisconsin was, well, y'all were trying to do it last week. We'll get to that we'll get to that. Speaking of another build, Joel, we have exclusive access. We are fortunate, but we've also done our diligence here to get exclusive access to one of Joel's favorite build outs currently.
Yeah, so this one is here in Milwaukee. It is one that we've been covering extensively since it was announced. Not only because it is obviously a full brand new brewery being built out, but I've also been able to make a good connection with Nick, the owner of Treeline Brewing. He was a previous owner again, or not owner, sorry, previously head brewer at Broken Bat. Also spent time with Third Space and Lakefront. He has some great brewing chops. And for those that may recall, I went there not too long after he initially got this building and announced it. I was there, did kind of a little video walkthrough once it had been torn down essentially to the studs, and discussed with him kind of the vision for Treeline. Well, recently I was able to go back and do a walkthrough on the progress. And I can tell you right now, he is moving. He is humming along. He's done so much work with the interior and the exterior. You can see at the bottom there. I know he's done all the landscaping, built up the patio. They just refinished the entire parking lot. That the parking lot adjacent to the building is fully tree lines, which being in the city is very helpful. Even if he's not right downtown, still a very big deal. And walking in, the bar top is gorgeous. He's got all the brewing equipment there along one wall. When you are going past the building, the kettles are right there in the window. He says that it's already been drawing a lot of attention from people walking by and driving by, kind of poking around now that they're seeing all this stuff go in. As I'm talking right now, it's very possible that furniture is now being delivered there, or if it's not, is going to be very soon, because he said furniture was coming in next week. And that was when I talked to him last week. So yeah, it's looking great. I did shoot some more video content with him, including about 10 or 11 minutes worth of discussion with him about the tap room. That will be coming out soon, but for now at least, and it's not going to do it on the slideshow. So let me pull it up here, because it did it when I spit it on the slideshow before. But obviously, let me see if I can.
But that's a picture. This post is something that you put out there on our social media yesterday, right? Or
Yes.
Okay. So y'all might have seen this, but if not, Joel's cranking it up here. For those who didn't see it.
Yes.
But yeah, as Joel cranks this out, our Patreon members, it's out there now. So go over to Patreon if you are a Patreon member. It's out there. It's an 11-minute video of Joel in there. But Joel, you got it now. Can you push that up, or do you need my help?
Are we? Or is it not going to play the? Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Soon be Milwaukee Smith Brewery. And look at that. We even got signage up.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's about time that we do another check-in on what will soon be Milwaukee's newest brewery. And look at that.
So Joel, overall thoughts?
Yeah. So again, lack of tech skills ignored. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You saw in there as the walkthrough. Besides having the main little area there, they're going to have a small stage in the back for local music performances. He already has a guy that is local that is going to be handling all of that. There's also a separate seating area kind of behind that stage area that's going to it has like some old Facebook Marketplace, like it feels very 80s, like some couches and chairs and there's going to be a bunch of books on like national parks and, a very laid back vibe. The theme behind this is obviously very nature, national parks adjacent. And the more I've talked about it with him and how the decor is trying to start to come together, I really feel like that is kind of a cool theme to have in the city. Because that was one thing that we talked about, that it was kind of an interesting choice. But it was almost now going to become like a little mini, like a getaway sanctuary type of vibe. I feel like in the hustle and bustle of the city, coming in there and having it be a place that's celebrating nature and our wonderful national parks. So I have more information on, some dates and whatnot potentially. I also about beers, what you can expect in the tap room, all that kind of good stuff. Um, we will be releasing the video soon where I talk with Nick about all of that. I think the only thing that he's waiting on, there was a delay with the brewing panel that for shipping or something along those lines. Once that is in, he said he is all systems go to start brewing. So we will, unless there is some huge major hiccup, we will have Treeline in here, in the next, within a few months, hopefully. So very, very excited to be there for that. And we will obviously keep you posted when the time comes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so yeah, we're on that one. Y'all will get the updates. We will be there. Joel's excited. We're all excited about that one. And just as much as we miss Supermoon, we're probably as happy as we are with the additions of Radix and Treeline, and eventually Acronym. So things are, and we're gonna get Supermoon back, y'all, in some way, shape, or form. So it's we're good here, man. So really, another thing that's been accented to us that Joel and I want to talk about. That's basically the end of our build, y'all, and that's what we got as far as our builds coming in. We have some other ones here. We're waiting on some more details to bring you, but we have nothing else on that front. But Joel and I wanted to highlight some of the charitable things that are going on with our breweries lately. This is out here at Pitchfork. I visited Pitchfork about month and a half ago. They are doing a benefit for Drew York. I believe that Drew was a. Do you remember this story, Joel? Because you wanted us to highlight this one, right? Or was it?
I'm not sure if that was me that brought it up.
Okay, yeah. I believe that Drew was a part of the Pitchfork community, and they're doing a golf tournament in his honor, and I believe that the benefits go to local scholarships and student success. So check that out. That's going to be happening during actually the beginning of Oktoberfest season, the official Oktoberfest season. Obviously, y'all know it already started here because everybody has their Oktoberfest out. So also, we wanted to highlight. We talked about this last time, Joel. Our newest brewery that just opened, Derriere Brewing, is working on a neighbor's ale brew. They want other brewers to brew this beer that is a benefit to the Menasha. I was going to say volcano tornado victims. We don't have volcanoes, and well, we do, but they're out west. Derriere Brewing is they want other brewers to brew beer for the Menasha folks. This starts Labor Day to October 1st. Y'all can find more information about this on Derriere's social media, and I would suspect that we will be hearing more about this as we get closer to Labor Day, which is next week. And lastly, and not least, Fox Valley Strong Pale Ale was brewed at our friends at Vault 202, I believe. Last week, Joel, was it?
Yes.
Like that. And as y'all see, there's 8 local breweries that collaborated on this. We're going to shout them all out. Vault, Hop Yard Ale Works, McFleshman's, Appleton Beer Factory, Lion's Tail, Stone Arch, Timber Tap, and Fox River Brewing all came together to brew beer. The beer will be available at 8 breweries beginning September 4th. And our friend Scott said that the goal is to collect at least $10,000 for tornado victims. So breweries out there doing good things, Joel.
100%. We'll love to see that, especially after the challenging events up there. And hopefully, I don't know that I will be able to get up there to try the beer, but if any one of our followers does, make sure to let us know and to shout out the breweries that all have them when you're there.
Yeah, and that's next week, y'all. So we'll have details from that from our Fox Valley correspondents, Carrie and Kyle. Shout them out. We'll have something, Joel. Maybe I'm not sure if this is making distribution, but maybe we can get a crowler or 2 or something here, and we can let y'all know that that's going down. But that should be next week. Look check the social media on all of them, especially Vault, and check our social media because we will be pushing it out too. So, Joel, not that it's not fun, but to a fun part, I mean, we started off kind of rough, right? But it was
We got it turned around.
One of the things we want to talk about here, y'all. You'll be talking about us more as our stops. Joel and I want to be more intentional about telling you where we've been and why we liked where we were and all that. So without further ado, we'll start with me here. My last 3 stops were on last weekend, actually. Saturday, I went to the Potosi Brew Fest. I do have a piece out there now, y'all. Let's see here that we just published. Deep in the Drift plus Badger Report hits Potosi. I was fortunate enough to get secure tickets to go for being a Badger Beer Report, and I was able to go to the Potosi Beer Fest, which is one of the smaller one, intimate, fun. Only a few breweries, but you're able to talk to the brewers that are there. I had a good time. I like the brews from Seven Hills really stood out. Though. Seven Hills was great. Of course, there was Hillsborough was there. Starkweather was there. I did get to try Wet Beaver beer. I started my day with Spotted Cow, so it was a good day, good times. Obviously, Joe, I don't have to tell everybody. I definitely don't have to tell you, but everybody knows about the history of Potosi and all that. And then on Sunday, I was able to go to the pharmacy, Public House Tyrrhenia for the first time. Very nice brew pub, very like cozy pub feel, actually, if that makes sense. Like with the wooden interior, and it's very very nice. And then Sunshine is right like steps away. That's where we brewed our stout blooded beer. Caleb and Lane are the fellas there. That was a quick stop, but that was fun to try to stop blooded again. So those are my last 3 stops, Joel. Where have you been, buddy?
Yeah, so I think I might have overlapped with, there's a couple other ones here in Milwaukee that I went to, but I wanted to highlight these last 3 stops that I went to over my birthday weekend. These were all 3 new to me breweries that I had not visited yet. So it was very exciting. I went to Timber Tap in Kimberly, Gnarly Cedar, their new location as of last year in Wrightstown, and then Yard 65 in Kiel. So 3 very distinct places. Actually, if you've been watching me and you looked at my background tonight, my green screen background is actually the tap room at Timber Tap in Kimberly. It's a really neat little space. I quite enjoyed it. I got there right when they opened, so I was the only person there. But it's part of a building there, near downtown Kimberly. It's part of Timber Solutions. And so the owners own the whole building, and it's also home besides the tap room. It is also home to a small cafe and a little barbecue joint. And so you can actually go be ordering your barbecue and then come over to the tap room that is connected to it and come and order a beer and have a beer while you wait for your barbecue. But yeah, here I can duck out of the way there. You can see all the nice wood beams and everything. It's a really nice little setting. They got a nice little outdoor enclosure kind of too. My top pick there was the Papermaker Red Ale. I know what was the beer, Greg, that you liked from there?
Wait, it's a fruit. I thought it was Fruity Pebbles, but Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, that was it. That was not on when I was there. But yeah, so that was a fun one. And then Gnarly Cedar.
Real quick, before we get to Gnarly Cedar, where we're at Timber Tap. So one of the unique things about Timber Tap is that they, and I know you can speak to it, they have their own house beers, but they also have a selection of really, really banger craft beer.
They had some pretty
talk about that.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. I didn't write down what all the guest taps were.
Right, but they were elite.
While we're talking, but it was surprising because there were some names on there that I would not have expected to find in Kimberly. Because there are some local ones. Like there's Fifth Ward, Three Sheeps, Let me see where
You
else.
said Fifth Ward. Like you
They
had me at
were
Fifth Ward. So.
Central Waters, McFleshman's, but then they also had something. They had something from Trillium, which is one of the banger breweries from the Northeast out there in the Boston area.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite brewery in Massachusetts. It's incredible. I'm trying to think. I don't see any. Oh, and Zool, which is one of the super trendy breweries from Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
They did a collab with our friends at Youngblood for
Mm-hmm.
Great Taste.
Yeah. So the point is, though,
Yeah,
we don't have to
yeah.
go down the mall. The point is that they ain't afraid to have really great beers right next to their house beers, and you can just go. So if you don't find a house beer, you can definitely find a Trillium, or so it's really really nice. I mean, I just love that space, Joe. And also we're about to talk about a space that I really love.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna hold off because that one was my favorite of the trip. So I'm going to pop over to Yard 65 first, and then
Okay.
we'll finish up with Gnarly Cedar. Yard 65 there at the bottom, and I guess I could have used a better picture because one of the impressive things about Yard 65, it is a huge building. It's a former lumber yard, and they transformed it into so like the tap room is all connected, but it's divided with a wall and like a passage. Like it feels like two separate tap rooms essentially that are connected by like a doorway. They're both very large, have kind of distinct feels because one of them is like stairs, like a kind of an upper level area. And then there's also an event center there as well, like a big event space for like hosting weddings and whatnot. So it is a large venue, a very impressive venue, and they had a really big array of beers too. I was a really big fan of the low visibility hazy IPA, and I remember in our group who somebody else was it Carrie? Somebody else was just there recently and also had really good things to say about the low visibility hazy IPA. I can't remember for sure, but if you do go to Yard 65 and they have the low visibility on tap, that would be my recommendation to go and try. Also dug on the Special K Kolsch was pretty good. But yeah, it's a really cool venue, especially for a town the size of Kiel, like having this massive tap room and event center because it's right there in the small downtown. But it's two distinct large taproom spaces, and then the event space is like up the stairs. And I peeked in it, but they were prepping for something. I think we were up there on a Saturday, so it was probably for a wedding that evening. But yeah, it was very very cool. And then we will transition to what has arguably been my favorite visit this year in terms of the space, Gnarly Cedar. And this is one that we obviously extensively covered during the build out. And they originally were part of, they still technically are, the Ledgestone Vineyards. They were there. They had their beer at the winery, and now they built their own location. And oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. So it is directly on the Fox River. They're in Wrightstown, and you walk in and it's gorgeous inside and out. So I was there also, thankfully, on a beautiful summer day, great temps, sunny day. So they had all the huge windows up, like rolled up behind the bar. So you went in there and they had the breeze coming in, and you were just right there with the river if you were sitting at the bar. If you needed a better, even less obstructed view, you can go out on the patio. It's a multi-tiered area, including like a lower tier on like some stone with like some Adirondack like chairs sitting there on the river. There were multiple like boats whizzing by while I was there. It was gorgeous. I actually got a new winter hat from there that somehow my wife and kids didn't go in with me, but they bought it for my birthday. Imagine that. My surprise when I opened that one. But little slipped a little something there. But I really enjoyed. There were two beers in particular that I really liked. The Kickstand Blood Orange Wheat. If I had to pick one, that would be the one that I would go with. And then also the Smallmouth Session, the Session Hazy IPA. But the Kickstand Blood Orange Wheat was actually one that I did not have in my initial flight. It was one that the bartender had said that he really liked, and then somebody else had ordered to say, "Oh, like I'm gonna let me get a little pour of that and let me try it." And it was my about level, I would say, in my rating system with Session, but with the smallmouth Session. But if I'm picking one to get a pint of, I'm gonna go with that Kickstand. That Blood Orange Wheat was really good, and it's just an unbeatable view I did not eat there. We kind of got there at an awkward time in terms of we had initially planned on doing dinner there. Sometimes with young kids, schedules get jumbled. We did not get there at the proper time for that. Um, but the food did look excellent.
It
And
is.
I did not have all
It
the
is.
beers were above average at least. Like all five beers that I had were solid.
Mhm.
And yeah, just a really high quality space. If I lived closer to Wrightstown or
I would-
I would be there all the time.
all the time.
It's it's one of those places too that with the view, I'm
All
sure
the
it's
time.
beautiful year round. Like obviously in winter, there's probably some ice and everything, but spring, summer, fall, it's just especially when the leaves change. I'm sure it's just going to be a gorgeous venue. So
Mm.
5 stars for Wrightstown. I had the faith from the get go. We've told them about that. I saw that, I'm like, yeah, this is on the water. They got it cooking here, and
Mhm.
but I will say this: they executed it even better than now that I've been there. They executed
They've
it better than
executed
even
better.
I anticipated. It's phenomenal. Like it just is. It's a phenomenal location.
Everything Joel said, but I'll even add that the food is as good as everything else there. The food
Yep.
is really, really good. So yeah, Joel. Yeah, so Joel's got some fun stops here. We'll get to the stops here a little bit later. Or but I just wanted to shout out our brewing partners here, Joel. We got Deadbird Brewing, Inventors, Sunshine, and Topsy Turvy. We are just all grateful for them for playing games with us, basically, for lack of a better word, for sure. And just nothing but love. Our beers are still out there. Our Shoreline beers at that bird, you can get that. Wednesday they open. Sunshine's back open on Wednesday. Topsy and Inventors are open every day of the week. Inventors is open all day, every day. Topsy, I think, opens late in the afternoon. What's up, Joel?
Cans for Shoreline Picnic Table are being released tomorrow on Wednesday at Deadbird. Tomorrow is the can release day. I may be there. I do not know for certain yet. I am hoping to get down there for it. But Shoreline Picnic Table, it has been on tap at Deadbird for a little while now, but the cans are officially being released tomorrow. So if you want to go get 4 packs for the first time, you can go get 4 packs of a Badger Beer Report collaboration beer. You can go do that tomorrow. I will also tease. We're not. I don't think we're going to release the details right now tonight because I haven't talked to him yet. But I can tell you, next week I am going in to brew our next collaboration beer. So I will give you being here. It is in Milwaukee area. I will say it's in Milwaukee County. Um, so you can start to toss around your guesses, but I will plan to be posting about that when I go in on the 3rd. And yeah, just really excited about all these beers. I know that Greg has been on top of posting about where and they're on tap and for, keeping that up to date for everybody that is wanting to try them.
Yeah, so while we're here and we'll move along fast, Stout Blooded American is at Delta Beer Co. That is open every day, starting at I think 2. It's also at Sunshine Brewing, which will be open on Wednesday. As we said, Shoreline, Joel gave you that update. It's at Deadbird, and you can get cans of that. Topsy Turvy, I believe the Bob Pop is still on. Y'all told me it should have been gone by now, but we haven't heard from Russell, so proceed that it's still there in Lake Geneva. The Williams Pastry Stout is on Nitro. So it is on its last legs. I like that beer on Nitro too, by the way. And then Laminar Flow, there is plenty of that still flowing at Inventors in Port Washington. So they are out there. Go grab them. We are proud of all of them. We've had various levels of involvement in the recipe making from 0 to full here. So it's been very interesting. Obviously, nothing with the Stout Blooded as opposed, as or outside of founding and directing and helping put on the event that made that beer come out. The beer came out of that event. But yes, we are happy about our collaboration partners, and check our Facebook page to continue to find out where they're at and when they will be available. So, Joel, What's available to us now is what you want to keep an eye on, Brewery West.
Yeah, so just a couple here. I already kind of hinted at Nicolay. We've actually mentioned Nicolay and Radix. Um, both coming along. I'm gonna plan on checking in with
Where are they
Radix.
at again, Joel?
Radix is in Cudahy. Nicolay is in De Pere.
Yep.
Lehman has been doing some good work. I think they're getting really close. They might already be starting to have people into that space that they've been expanding into. Turtle Stack is plugging along and making quick progress of their new build out in on Alaska. And Foxtown has way more of a skeleton structure up. Last time I drove by there a couple weeks ago. And so for the next Brewery Report, I am planning to go down there and get some photo and video content to share with everybody as they continue building out in downtown Milwaukee, right on the river, in what is going to be a very impressive location.
Isn't there another note with Layman you want to say or no?
I don't think so.
Wasn't there a plea for
Oh yes, we can share because we did share that Layman shared that this build out took more than what they anticipated, both I think in terms of time, energy, and of course money. And they posted and we shared their social post asking for the community that if you have spent time at Layman, you've enjoyed your time at Layman, that to come by and give them a little extra support as they wrap up this big construction project they've had ongoing. So yeah, go down there. Kyle and Sarah are awesome people. I've enjoyed my time visiting with them every time I've been there. So yeah, cheers to Layman, and I'm gonna get down there once that space is fully complete too. I need to go and do that.
yeah, our correspondent Carrie was there on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, so that was cool. So that brings us to this number,
Yeah,
which is
the same number. The big number stays the same. We are just swapping out Supermoon from the breweries, and we are adding the offsite location for Ope. Uh, that still means that the big number stays the same for now, but we have some coming down the pipeline soon with
oh
openings and hopefully not more closings. But for now, at least, this is where we stand statewide.
yeah. Also, a note here too, real quick. I have to note. Actually, I forgot about this, but we will say another one we had to move around. Joel is I will read this report and then
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
you can opine after this. We're making a shift to the Badger Beer Report tracking map tonight for Northwoods Brewing, y'all. While the original brew pub has closed and we're keeping them on the closure map, they are still actively brewing. We've officially slid them over to brewing without a brick and mortar category, which is the other. Right now, you can find their flagship pours Floppy Crappy and the Walters in distribution in the Osseo area, with plans to expand their territory next year. In the meantime, Sean is out there serving up his great food from his KIR barbecue trailer while the team hunts for a new permanent location and opening their doors, hopefully to a brick and mortar in 2027 in the spring. So that's an update on Northwood, y'all. Joel, did you have any comment on Northwood?
No, I think the only thing I would be as a fisherman, I have to say that it would be floppy crappie, would be the pronunciation for the fishing. But either way, yeah. So that just to explain again, the reason it's staying on the closing map is that when a location physically closes, it is added to the map. That is also why we had obviously a lot of conversation. This is the first time that something of ours went semi-viral on Facebook. And to clarify, places like Lake Louie and places like Vintage and Lift Bridge that are on there, it is because they had locations close, physical locations that closed down. The breweries are still there. We are aware of that, but we are covering
Supermoon too.
every single closure of a physical taproom location, or if it is a brewery that just closes for good. But for now, as we said, we did move Northwoods to the other category, but they no longer have that physical location for now.
And for the record, we have moved Supermoon off and we
Yes.
have not put them on other yet.
Correct.
So y'all know.
Unless they start brewing again here, they will, even if they distribute in Wisconsin, they will not get back onto the list. They would need to physically open, like they would have to physically start brewing again in the state to be added to the Wisconsin list, of course.
And while we're here, y'all, if y'all were witness or y'all want to go witness this wonderful thread that had this on, there was a lot. Joel and I would like, or at least I know I would like to address some of the comments that were under this thread, which is it was a lot of new people. So and this is great. It was a lot of new people who so for whatever reason, y'all, little inside ball, Facebook pushed this one out harder than it's ever pushed out a closing one. I don't know why it did it. I don't know what algorithm. I don't know what we did. We don't know. It just doesn't. So it got pushed out to 98% of the people who don't follow us, and 2% of the people who follow us commented. So we had a whole bunch of people who never saw us before comment, and that was amazing. But that came with a lot of people that didn't know what we're doing, doesn't understand it, and they just saw this, y'all. They just saw this. What they didn't see, y'all, is this. They didn't see the opening 26 or the upcoming map. If you count those two, we have 25 breweries on the opening 26 map and the upcoming map. We have 26 breweries, y'all. We have 11 on the closing map. And these people that came in just were like, wow, craft beer's blowing up. This is why people are drinking. The bubble had to burst. All these things that were said because the context was just this map, y'all. The context wasn't these two, which show if you put them together, y'all do that math. It's really easy. It shows that we're actually growing than we are losing, right, Joel? Is that am I getting this analysis wrong, or
no,
what's going on?
It's because I feel like last year. I feel like last year and this year, it's been pretty close to 1-for-1, especially when you factor in that a handful of these. You figure Liftbridge left the state, but they are still technically open. But Lake Louie and Vintage were both breweries that are still obviously doing well in the state overall and have locations. You also have places like Steel Tank, which hadn't been brewing for over a year anyway, essentially, and the only reason they weren't part of 25 is because they announced that they were going to renovate and change and rebrand and then never did. And then obviously, you have some places like, we saw it with 1840 with, sometimes health issues come into play. And that happened with, with Duran, with the owner passing away unexpectedly. And so it is one of those things that you still do take the wide sweeping, like it is generalizations of closings and openings because there is information to draw from that, but each of these numbers also represent a different story, a different brewery, and need to be treated as such as well. But yeah, I think overall we've seen some good progress, and we have a lot more. Like I think we're going to see some more here come in before the end of the year, and fingers crossed that we don't see any more head out.
Yeah. So on this closing map, we lost. My count, we lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't know. Listen, y'all, we don't know about Untitled Heart, so let's not act rumors. Like we don't know about it.
There's rumors swirling.
Untitled Heart is not dead. I'm gonna say that. I'm just a goofy guy who has some website who started 60. I'm not a journalist. Y'all know all this. I'm just saying, speculating. If y'all gonna tell me, if I look at this map, I see Supermoon coming back. I think Untitled Art's coming back. Again, Liftbridge and Lake Louie are thriving from what we know. I know Lake Louie's thriving. As thriving as far as we're good, if that makes sense. Public was definitely a loss right there. And Duran, we're not, Duran's a loss right there. Vintage, no, they're doing pretty well. So, the closing map is complicated. It's not just really that cut and dry.
It's not black and white.
So it's certainly not. And actually, some of this, this isn't either for the record. Joel and I will keep quiet on this, but some of these on the upcoming map, we're not sure of, to be honest with y'all. We're not going to tell you we're not going to tell you which ones we're not sure of, but there's some we're not sure of. So maybe all 16 won't come in. Even if 13 come in, y'all, we are still doing good. And then, the openings are the openings. They open. So that's not so we can't. I mean, maybe we'll lose them soon, but they open. So there's no speculation on those. And then we have at least probably a handful coming in here at the end. So we just wanted to let y'all know, despite some of the gloom and doom and some of the pass by comments I feel that we got, Joel and I, we covered this pretty hard, especially the past year and a half. We feel we're okay, y'all, but it doesn't mean that doesn't mean that we got to stop supporting our breweries, right?
Nope.
It doesn't mean we got to stop going out to them and enjoying it and taking our family there when we can and having our events there if possible and all those things, because again, our breweries are our local hubs, outside of just a great place to have a wonderful crisp beverage when you need one, right, Joel?
Absolutely correct.
All right, so wrapping up here, another thing we like to talk about here, y'all, but we just like to let y'all know that we're out on the road. And really, in order to do what we do, we have to be out on the road. So I logged 93 stops this year, y'all. That is the map. I hope to get to 100 here soon. I didn't set out this year to be trying to go to 100 breweries. I set out this year to go to more breweries to understand the landscape, and here we are. So 93 is a great year. It's my most traveled year in Wisconsin, easily by far, not even close, y'all. And I'm having a good time. We'll see. Next week's Labor Day, I'm trying to cross off some more here coming up here, but we'll see. Joel has been to 33 stops within Wisconsin this year, and probably more than that outside of Wisconsin. But you see where Joel's at. So then this when you combine our stops, we've been to 126 together. You can see them together. And lastly, y'all, Joel and I have been to 212 total stops in Wisconsin throughout our lifetime, as far as we know. Joel
Ones
and I
that have remained open.
We still have ones that have remained open. We still have, by my count, 41 to go to that Joel or I have not been to. The brown ones are the ones that I've been to that Joel hasn't been to, and the yellow ones are the ones that I haven't been to, but Joel has been to. And then the red ones are the ones that we've been together, y'all. Probably not together at the same time. There's probably, 3 of them, Joel?
There's only a couple, yeah. There's a handful.
Yeah, there's a handful. So there's that, y'all. We keep these just to keep our sanity, and also I love our maps because it literally keeps me going as far as like what I'm trying to do next. So what I just did though is went to the Driftless for the Potosi Brew Fest. You can y'all can read my write up on BadgerBeerReport.com. So next week, y'all, got a special for you. Next Tuesday, I'll be talking to 2 of the youngest brewers in Wisconsin, Kylie Lofi from Hillsboro Brewing and Jared Mack from Hoya Hop. They are 2 of our youngest brewers. I'm really interested to talk to them, to talk to them, Joel, of course, about how are the young brewers brewing for the young people that people in our closing map told us aren't drinking anymore. So we're going to get to that. And we're also going to get to, I also want to see how they feel about, the NAs and the lower ABV trend and the THC trend and the seltzer trend and how they are dealing with it. And Jared, too, comes from a cocktail mixing background. Yeah, so I can't wait to get into him with that. And then, Kylie's new on our map, or new on our radar, out there in Hillsboro. Mm-hmm. So, they're both kind of rural, but Waupun's definitely in the city, right? And Hillsboro is definitely rural.
Very much.
So it'll be very interesting to see what Kylie says about brewing from a rural. He has, his chops were made in Potosi there, so it'll be interesting to see what he says about it. So I'm really looking forward to talking to these fellows next week. Should be fascinating. We're gonna have them on back to back. So I think Kylie's gonna go first, and I think Jared's gonna go second. And then I'm just gonna talk to them individually. Joe, I kind of wanted to talk to them individually and not together because I kind of wanted to highlight the differences between Hoya Hop House and Hillsborough at the same time, if that makes sense. Maybe we can get them back and have like a round table later or something. But I feel that accenting which, each one of those breweries is doing separately, because I don't know, you and I haven't been to Hillsborough. Well, we've both been to Hoya, and that's interesting what he's doing, his whole program, and and how that mixes with the cocktails he's got going on there. And it's just this whole thing that Jared's got going on. And I'm just still learning what Kylie's doing. So can't wait. Going to be good next week. The session returns next Tuesday. I'm thinking 1:00. Not firm. Check our social media at the end of the week for that, y'all. So that should be fun and exciting next week. So two shout outs that we need your help on, y'all. We really need your help on We really need your help on our YouTube page. If y'all could scream over there and subscribe, that would be amazing. We don't have that many subs over there. Tomorrow's Joel's 10-minute interview / walkthrough at Treeline will drop exclusively on YouTube. We will post on Facebook, but the link's going to go to YouTube. So when you go over there to check it out, y'all, just hit that subscribe for us, please. That'd be great. And lastly, Badger Beer Report, this is what it looks like when you go to our Spotify. So if y'all will go over to Spotify, we have some exclusive podcasts there. That's where our podcast comes out. If y'all could subscribe there, and actually, if y'all could rate us there, that would be amazing too. So on that note, Joel, we want to thank all of our new followers on Facebook. We want to thank everybody who supports Badger Beer Report. And Joel, do you have any closing notes about on this brewery report, sir? Before we get out of here?
I think we covered it all. Make sure you're following us on socials for the most up-to-date news, as we do our best to cover the entire state. And as always, whether it is where you are visiting or where you are living, be sure to drink local everywhere. Cheers, everybody.